5 years after Cố Thành hung up his sword, he suddenly called me dirty. He'd fallen for a college girl who looked demure and gentle, bragging to his friends that he was now experiencing a pure spiritual love untainted by the flesh. In their group chat, he typed, "Before marriage, Lee used to DJ at nightclubs. Who knows how many men she's been with? No wonder she's so good in bed." His friends chimed in, "A ton. Dump that trash already, but before the divorce, have some fun a few more times, and remember to record it for us." When I saw his reply, "Okay," I knew it was time to teach that bastard a lesson. You're listening to
My
a story
hands were
on
shaking
Hebe
as I
audio,
read,
but I still managed to screenshot everything. I pulled out a cigarette I'd quit years ago, lit it, took a long drag, and stood frozen on the balcony. 5 years of love, 5 years of sacrifice, and all I got in return was contempt. She's filthy. That's how he saw me now. The screen of my phone lit up, a new follower on social media. The avatar was a pink cat. The username, no cilantro. I hadn't updated my account in years. Not since I'd listened to him and settled into the role of a good wife. But something told me this girl didn't come with good intentions. I clicked her profile. Her pinned post was a photo of 2 hands clasped together with the caption, "The mortal chases the flesh. The pure pursue the soul." The hand in the photo looked familiar, too familiar. It looked exactly like Cố Thành. A chill ran through me. Scrolling down, I found a post from May 20th, a screenshot of a 5.200 yuan transfer. The sender labeled, "Super Daddy." The caption read, "When you give out of love, it's devotion. When you have to ask, it's a sale." Someone commented, "Another day to be jealous." She replied, "That woman begged. Daddy didn't want to give. I told him to consider it payment for what's left of her fluff. I told him already, no gifts before 520. I froze. On May 19th, I'd asked him, "Should we buy a dishwasher? There's a sale. Think of it as a 520 gift." My hands had grown rough from years of housework. A friend gave me a nail salon voucher, but getting my nails done made washing dishes inconvenient. He frowned and said, 520 isn't even a real holiday. We've been married for years, stop acting like a kid. But on May 23rd, a delivery man showed up, with a brand new dishwasher. Between May 1st and May 3rd, she'd posted 11 selfies captioned, "Out with Daddy" here and there. Those 3 exact days, I was in the hospital after a miscarriage. He'd said he was too busy with work to visit. Scrolling to her New Year's Eve post, there was a photo from Zhongcheng University's gala. "If a man loves you like a daughter, and accepts a platonic love, should you be with him?" A later comment from January 18th said, "We're together now," and another from February 15th, "With him. I get everything I want. Thank you, Daddy, for spoiling me unconditionally." That New Year's Eve, Cố Thành had gone back to his old school for a reunion. He'd invited me, but his mother fell sick, so I stayed home to care for her. Everything lined up perfectly. No doubt remained, he was cheating. No cilantro was the mistress. So that's why he suddenly called me dirty, because he was sleeping with his so-called pure little angel. "Smoking again?" His voice came from behind me. I steadied myself, pretending to sound casual. I just felt like it. He just showered, hair still damp, and he snatched the cigarette from my hand. "Naughty, didn't I tell you to quit? Want your husband to punish you again?" He put it out, then pushed me down. I thought of how gentle he must be with that student. How he ordered me around like a toy. Disgust rose up my throat. "Stop it, we're on the balcony," I said. He ignored me, his breath hot against my ear. "You don't like it?" I said nothing, turned, and walked toward the room. My attitude must have irritated him, because he grabbed me from behind. "Don't ruin the mood," he murmured. "I told you, I like it when you behave." Before I could reply, his phone rang. A strange number flashed on the screen. He froze for half a second, then answered curtly, "On my way." He hung up, changing his clothes as he spoke. To Lee, "That was Kang. There's an accounting issue at the company. We need to check the numbers first thing in the morning. I have to go." A perfect, urgent excuse. I had no reason to stop him. The moment he left, I called a divorce lawyer, then messaged my best friend to plan our next move. Divorce was certain, but if he'd betrayed me, He wouldn't get to walk away clean. 2 hours later, the girl posted again, a photo of Cố Thành bare back. Muscles firm, the exact body I used to love. The caption read, "In love. The unloved one is the real mistress. Whatever I want, he comes." I saved every post as evidence. Lying in bed, tears soaked the pillow. 5 years ago, he'd been a loyal dog at my feet. His parents had hated me for working as a DJ and forced him to break up. He'd fought them, shouting, "Tilly, you're bold and wild, how could I not love you? You're the only one for me." After marriage, I gave him everything, because he didn't want me working nights. I quit the job I loved. And now, he adored a pure college girl and called me dirty. His friends mocking me as a laying hen. Repeating the mistress's words, he knew I'd always been faithful, but still joined their laughter. He didn't come home that night. Didn't even text. Every minute hurt. That word, dirty, cut deeper than any knife. But adults don't have time to fall apart. Men like him were everywhere. If he was unfaithful, I'd let him go. What I needed to do was plan how to make the most of the divorce. And how to rebuild my life afterward. I decided to return to DJing, my real passion. His friends looked down on the job, saying women in that line expire young. But top DJs? Even at 40, they're still booked solid. I was 30, still young. Still beautiful. After I announced my comeback, offers poured in. I picked the club I'd always loved most and scheduled a Saturday night performance. That afternoon, I went to a spa for skincare before the show. And there, fate had a cruel sense of humor. I was just thinking of asking my best friend to help gather evidence of his affair when I spotted them, Cố Thành and No Cilantro, sitting together in a cafe. She sat across from him. Long straight black hair with bangs. Round doe eyes, innocent and harmless. Definitely her. I almost laughed. When he pursued me, he said he loved my fox eyes, seductive, confident. Now he preferred wide-eyed purity. She scooped ice cream with a spoon, and his gaze never left her. When her hair came loose, he stood, took a hair tie from his pocket, and tied it for her, then patted her head affectionately. Super daddy, indeed. I filmed the whole thing, even though I'd already known. Watching it with my own eyes still made me tremble. My mind told me not to care, but my heart still clenched. I called him. He ignored the first call, and the second, and the third. By the 7th, he finally picked up, annoyed. "Finance is a mess. The company's in chaos. What do you want?" He lied so easily it made me sick. I could imagine how many times he'd used that line over the past 8 months. "Nothing," I said softly. "Just wanted to ask if you're coming home tonight." He hung up before I could finish. I stood outside the cafe, watching silently. The midday sun burned hot, but I felt frozen. 2 hours later, they walked out hand in hand. I followed at a distance, recording as they talked. San," he said, "I think I should buy you a house. That apartment you're renting, it's full of men and women mixed together. I can't rest easy." So the mistress's name was San. She spun around, teasing. "You mean because your wife ruined our coffee date, you're buying me a house to make up for it?" He answered quickly, "No, I just worry about you. You're so sweet and innocent, you shouldn't have to live in a cramped place like that." My eyes stung. When I miscarried, the hospital was full, and they put me in a hallway bed among strangers, men, women, old, young. I'd texted him, hoping he could ask his doctor brother to help me find a room. He'd replied coldly, "You're such a bother." I still remembered when we moved into our home. He'd hugged me and said, "Baby, this is just the beginning. Someday I'll get you a bigger place. You deserve to be spoiled forever." Now those words, those promises, belonged to someone else. San tiptoed up and kissed his forehead, giggling. "Then I'll reward you with a kiss. But I'm marking this spot, don't let her touch it, okay?" He pulled her close, voice dripping with honey. "Of course not. My baby's kiss smells too good. If she touched it, it'd turn sour." I clenched my jaw, tilting my head back to stop the tears. When they finally drove off, I turned and walked into the spa. My best friend, Luke Neem, was already waiting, eyes shining. "So, did you get anything?" I sighed. "You're way too excited for someone whose best friend just got cheated on." She gave a strained smile. That's not what I mean, but ever since you've been with him. You're not you anymore. Honestly, don't you see how you're withering away? I froze, staring at her in silence. Before I could respond, she went on, you don't take care of yourself like before. You've lost that unbeatable, queen, aura you used to have. Now, whatever he says, you just obey. Her words hit home. It was true, after getting married, I'd stopped paying attention to my looks. When we first married, Cố Thành was always afraid I'd fall for someone else. He once told me, you're beautiful and stylish. I'm scared one day someone will steal you from me. I'd laughed and teased, then why don't you work harder to be someone worthy of me? He'd promised right then that he would, that he'd work harder, earn more, and become a better man. And me? I started dressing simpler, going out less, deliberately toning myself down to ease his insecurity. Now that Luke Neem pointed it out, I realized how far I'd let myself go. Seeing my eyes grow red, she patted my shoulder. Out with the old, in with the new, sis. Anyway, I got the info you asked me for. The file showed that No Cilantro's real name was Sao San San. A financially struggling student from a small town who'd moved to the city for school, but since early this year, her lifestyle had skyrocketed. 9 luxury handbags appeared in her posts alone, worth over 110,000 yuan in total. In the past 6 months, she'd traveled to 6 different cities, all while staying in upscale hotels. Most notably, on January 18th, she'd paid off her entire student loan. Around the same time, her younger brother in their hometown was suddenly transferred to a top local school. Besides several questionable money transfers, 16,580 yuan in total, all with flirtatious payment notes, she was also receiving 30 yuan monthly. Like clockwork, altogether, nearly 600 yuan. Luke Neem exhaled sharply. What a sly little fox. And damn, Cố Thành really gone all out, burning money like that without even picking someone decent. I smirked faintly, because she's pure, remember? That set Luke Neem off. Pure, my ass, that bastard. Does he even remember who helped him get to where he is? Now he's out there throwing money like some rich young master. No way, I'm getting you justice. I still remember how he used to follow you around like a puppy. I grabbed her arm and pulled her back down to her seat. Calm down, don't startle the snake before we catch it. She clenched her jaw. But he's cheating on you. And he's wasted 600,000 on her. You're just gonna let that slide? HMPH. His affair wasn't what hurt the most, it was the humiliation. But the fact that he'd used our marital money to keep another woman? Absolutely not. I gave a cold smile. If he spent my money, he's going to cough up every cent. Just then, my phone rang. It was Cố Thành. Where did you go? Why didn't you tell me you were leaving the house? My brow furrowed instinctively. Since when do I need your permission to go out? Sensing my tone, his voice softened. Hey, don't be mad. I just came home and didn't see you. I missed you, that's all. I felt a wave of disgust. Maybe it was because his bank account kept growing while my patience kept shrinking, or maybe because every time he spoke in that half-whining, half-commanding tone, I realized he'd forgotten who he used to be. He'd once been my man, I'd spoiled him, indulged him, but now he thought he could order me around? Not a chance. I'm just out handling some things. I'll be back later. What's up? His voice wavered slightly. I have to go on a business trip for a few days. I rushed home to hand you the household cash before I leave. When I didn't respond, he added quickly, since you're not home, never mind. I've already booked the flight. Don't stay up too late. Okay? Be good and wait for me. After he hung up, Luke Neem tilted her head. So, what now? I opened Sao San San's profile. She'd just posted again, a picture of a newly furnished apartment and Cố Thành silhouette in the frame. The caption read, from now on, 1 home, 1 cat, 2 hearts, 3 meals, 4 seasons. Here, I'll give you the best of everything. My super daddy. I almost laughed. So much for his pure little student. She'd already broadcasted their relationship online. And the address? The same residential complex I lived in. Apparently, Miss Platonic Love had decided to aim straight for the main wife's position. I twirled my phone between my fingers, a smile curving at my lips. She's dancing right in front of me. Wouldn't it be rude if I didn't join the show? I decided to visit their new love nest myself. Luke Neem insisted on coming, worried I might get hurt, but I refused. Divorce or not, this was between the three of us. I wanted it clean,
You're
direct,
listening to a story
no
on
outsiders.
Hebe audio.
Besides, I knew Cố Thành too well. He wouldn't dare lay a finger on me. He was all bark, no spine, always had been. After our marriage, his family had never accepted me. Sure, he'd once stood up to them, even cut ties to marry me. But once the vows were said, he stopped defending me entirely. If I hadn't been strong, I would have been crushed by now. Standing before the door of their apartment, a strange tension rose in my chest. I pressed the bell. A sweet, soft voice answered. "Who is it?" I took a deep breath and said evenly, "Open the door, I'm looking for Cố Thành." She probably hadn't expected me to sound so calm. There was silence inside for a few seconds before the door opened. Sao San San stood there, feigning innocence. "Oh, did you ring the wrong door, ma'am?" "Ha, playing the naive fox, are we?" Ignoring her, I called out into the apartment, loud and clear, "Cố Thành, don't hide like a coward. Your wife's here, aren't you going to invite me in for tea?" Apparently, she also wanted their relationship exposed. Her expression flickered. She dropped the act and hurried into the living room, calling out in a syrupy voice, "Tilda." In the awkward silence that followed, the three of us sat facing each other. Being young, she couldn't hold her tongue for long. "So, you already know everything," she said softly. "Then I can only apologize. But, you know, the one who isn't loved is the real mistress." I glanced at her, then turned to look at Cố Thành. He clearly hadn't expected her to say that and stammered, "It's not like that, Tilly. She's just a kid, she doesn't understand. There's no love or anything. Nothing's happened between us." I calmly lit a cigarette, took out a folder from my bag, and set it on the table. "Nothing happened, huh? Then who paid off her debts? Who bought her a car?" Sao San San panicked. "It was just a loan. Atan lent it to me. I'll pay him back later." "Shut up," he barked. She pouted but muttered under her breath, "It's not a big deal. You talk like I'm some gold digger. Just like her." The sound of a glass slamming against the table echoed through the room. I said, "Shut up." She turned away, eyes glistening with tears. "HMPH, I'm not talking to you anymore." Cố Thành turned to me, face stiff. "Tilly, let's go home. I'll explain everything." I laughed. "Home? Isn't this your home now?" I pulled out the divorce papers and placed them on the coffee table. "Sign them, you cheated." He flinched, reaching out as if to grab my hand but hesitated. "Tilly, you're really going to make a scene like this? Can't we talk it over at home?" I stubbed out my cigarette. "There's nothing to talk about. This is your last chance to walk away with some dignity. You leave with nothing. Otherwise, don't blame me for what comes next. You know exactly what I'm capable of." He stared at me in disbelief. "Are you insane? I'm the one working, earning the money, and you're telling me to walk away empty-handed?" I met his gaze squarely. "Yes, empty-handed. Because everything he had, he owed to me. When we first married, he'd been just an ordinary programmer, worshipping me like a goddess, obedient as a puppy. Thanks to my connections and business sense, he'd gotten a chance to join the development of a trending game. I saw the potential early, invested all my savings, even borrowed from my family to back the project. When it blew up, his shares made him rich overnight. Everyone called him a talent. But those who knew the truth understood the success was mine as much as his." Sao San San snorted. "That money was earned by Atan. He worked day and night to make that game. You didn't do anything, yet you want to take it all? You're pathetic. As a woman, I'm disgusted by you." I raised an eyebrow. "Atan, is that what you told her?" He snapped. "Enough, Tilly. You want a divorce? Fine, I'll sign." He signed the divorce papers in a flash. Sao San San panicked. "Atan, you can't agree to her terms." But Cố Thành said, "Money can be earned again. I have skills. I love you. I wronged her, and I'll take responsibility like a man." He shot me a sideways glance, clearly posing for effect. San San hesitated. then threw her arms around him. Ton, I'm right here. Head held high. He stared at me, eyes full of challenge. I stayed calm. One more thing. Ms. Sao, I will be recovering every yuan Cố Thành spent on you during the marriage. Including this apartment. The total is 5.6 million yen. San went rigid. You're going too far. He's already walking away with nothing. What more do you want? I stood, divorce papers in hand. Debts must be repaid. It's that simple. If you don't, the court will handle it. I ignored her insults as I left. Outside, I lifted my phone, snapped a photo, and sent it to Luke Neem. Handled it personally. There's nothing I can't do. Drinks tonight, my treat. She fired back a thumbs up sticker. I bow down. Queen, savage. I was a little smug. Honestly, our initial goal, after gaming out his psychology, was a 70/30th split in my favor. That was our lowest acceptable outcome. Who knew San would be so brainless and Cố Thành so vain? I knew him too well. If I'd chosen a private talk, he would have stalled forever, saying he wanted a divorce while never daring to sign. After all, I'd been his free housekeeper and career launchpad. If he hadn't needed to save face in front of San, today wouldn't have gone so smoothly. In a way, she didn't just accept secondhand goods. She inadvertently did me a huge favor. The only pity is that now he's penniless. The funds he blew on her may be hard to claw back in full. But if you play mistress and spend another woman's money, have the spine to face the consequences. I texted Luke Neem. Help me find the numbers for San's faculty advisor and department head. Court can force repayment, if she refuses. My hands are tied there. But if her university gets involved, well, unless she doesn't care about her future. That's another story. At the bar that night, Luke tried to ply me with drinks. If you want to cry, cry. I blinked, then shook my head. I don't. I've never been sentimental. People say I'm cold. Did it hurt? Of course. But now that it's done, relief outweighs the pain. Seeing I was truly fine, Luke relaxed and smirked. So that's it? You're letting that scumbag and mistress duo off? I arched a brow. He left with nothing. Consider the last few years unpaid labor for me. Isn't that enough? What else do you want? She squinted. Nope. The Tali I know always settles scores. I took a bracing sip. Oh, I will. Just not yet. First I collect over 5 million yen. Then we continue. Luke smacked the table. Knew it. Over the next few days, I packed all of his belongings. But he kept making excuses not to pick them up. Fine. I called San and told her to collect Super Daddy's stuff. That night, he posted something laughable, breaking free from toxicity. Starting over. Everything happens for the best. The photo was an obscene kiss with San. She posted the same. Luke urged me to go for a psychological kill. Comment, best wishes for your 99-day breakup. I only smiled. With clowns, the cruelest move is indifference. On the night of my official comeback set, Luke's megaphone of a mouth had nearly broadcast it to the whole city. Sure enough, Cố Thành showed up with San and chose the table right by the stage. Under the dim lights, they fed each other fruit and whispered. He kept shooting me provocative looks while pawing her in plain view. Childish. I turned away. During a break, on my way to the restroom, he staggered into the hallway and cut me off. Drunk. Tali, you're ruthless. Thank you, I said. He hadn't expected calm. He ground his teeth. Nothing happened between us. And you still divorced me? I didn't bother answering. He clamped a hand around my arm. Why won't you hear me out? I'll cut her off. Isn't that enough? Do you have to be like this? The barrage of questions gave me a headache. We're divorced. Cố Thành, keep this up and I'll call security. Move. I wasn't about to indulge him. Pointless. He knew I meant it and let go. Seething. Then he yelled after me. You're always like this. You'll regret it. Ooh, I've never regretted a decision. Marrying him. No. Divorcing him. Even less. Out of the corner of my eye, I caught San hiding in a shadow. She's not as simple as she looks. Preaches platonic love, yet lets a married man kiss and grope her in public. Calls herself truly loved. Yet when her boyfriend begs his ex-wife to take him back, she doesn't dare make a sound. Pathetic. And tomorrow she'll have more to cry about. The next morning, Luke and I went to San's university. I showed her department head. Professor Trong. The evidence and videos. Professor, I'm not asking for much. I just want her to return the money. Otherwise, thankfully, he was decent. He urged me to give the girl a chance to make things right. She's young. Let me mediate, please. For my sake, leave her a way out. I shook his hand. If she knows what's good for her, then for you, I'll compromise. He walked us all the way to the gate, thanking me profusely. Luke frowned. You're really going to let it go if she pays up? I nodded. A conscientious teacher deserves respect. That evening, Kotan banged on my door like a madman. To Lee, do you want to drive her to her death? How dare you go to her school? I leaned against the frame and showed him Sansan's own posts. And how dare she flaunt it in my face? His pupils contracted, but he kept arguing. She's just a kid. She's 20. If you've got a problem, take it out on me. I held out my hand, smiling thinly. Great. Then transfer me 5.6 million yen. He gnashed his teeth. Money, that's all you care about? You dumped me so easily and now you want to kill me financially? I swiped to the screenshots from his buddy's chat and held the phone up. Weren't you the one planning to dump me? He stumbled away. I went inside, brewed tea, and thought. The more I considered it, the more it was obvious. Sansan lacked a functioning brain. Suffering is tailor-made for people with shallow insight. Her professors tried to pull her out of the mud. But if she insists on crossing me, I'll make sure she loses spectacularly. They had a blowout, Kotan and Sansan, partly over money. Partly because their secrets spilled. I didn't have time for dogs biting dogs. I only wanted my money back. One day, her parents came from their hometown to see me. Deep wrinkles lined their faces. The moment they entered, they fell to their knees. I stopped them immediately. They said Sansan would vacate the 5 million yen apartment. And they'd scraped together 470 yen by borrowing and selling land, begging me to go easy. I refused. Were they not complicit? If they were truly innocent, why turn a blind eye when a freshman suddenly had money to transfer her brother into a magnet school? They were only doing the right thing, because they had no choice. I took back the apartment and the money, without an ounce of guilt. Then came the moral grandstanding from Kotan. How can you watch two old people sell their land? Do you have no conscience? I answered with his own line. You cheated while married. You have no conscience. His eyes lit up. I knew it. You're still mad I cheated. Don't be angry. To Lee, let's start over. Typical selfishness. Cursing me for not being pure 1 minute. Begging the ex-wife the next. Or maybe he simply didn't know what he wanted. I flicked his hand away like shaking off dirt. I've wanted to kick trash like you to the curb for a long time. Don't even dream of a reunion. He stared, stunned. Calm down. We'll talk when you've cooled off. He scurried away, and even he must have known those words were just a last scrap of pride trying to save itself. I recovered every last cent. Luke Neem teased. You've become the woman everyone envies, money, beauty, and no husband. Perfection. With the money back in my account, I no longer feared those two gutter rats doing anything desperate. I compiled a full dossier of the affair, every detail of Kotan and Sao Sansan, attached all the screenshots from her social media, and blasted it everywhere I could think of. Zhang University forums. Every platform, even his private friend circles. I didn't stop there. I hired a loudspeaker truck from Sansan's hometown. Every morning it parked at the Sao family's village gate and broadcast on loop. Congratulations to Miss Sao Sansan, officially crowned Mistress-in-Chief. I'd planned this meticulously and moved fast enough that they couldn't counter. I wanted both of them ruined. It worked. The scandal blindsided them. Chaos. Panic. They came to confront me, whining that I'd gone back on my word. I looked at Kotan and said mildly, "Didn't you used to say, all's fair in war?" Not long after, his parents showed up, just as insufferable as ever. His father plopped onto the sofa, face dark as soot. You and he are husband and wife, two wings of the same bird. Making a public spectacle, aren't you ashamed? I set the divorce certificate on the table. He stomped his foot. A lover's spat at night is patched up by morning. What good is one slip of divorce paper? You're still his wife. The line reeked of the Qing dynasty. I smiled thinly. Sir, the Qing fell a long time ago. Sensing the tide turning against them, his mother clutched her chest and launched into a bad theater heart attack. To Lee, are you trying to anger your mother-in-law to death? What kind of daughter-in-law acts like this? I waggled the divorce decree again. Seeing I was stainless steel, not butter, they shifted to honeyed voices. She sobbed about the hardship of raising her son, he sermonized. Spare others and heaven will spare you. Unfortunately for them, I'm immune to both soft and hard tactics. They left empty-handed. At the door, his mother glared and spat. Marrying you was the worst mistake of his life. Heartless woman, I took a deep breath and answered sweetly. If I'm so heartless, why waste your breath? If you'd realized earlier, I'd have shown you out at the start. The uproar eventually died down. The brotherhood that once called me every vile name under the sun wouldn't even be seen dining with him. No one wanted to be part of the joke. After his super idol image collapsed, Cố Thành went feral on social media, alternately cursing his buddies for costing him his marriage, blaming his who parents for wrecking his family, and spending the rest of his time crying that men have it so hard, and life is so cruel. I found it hilarious. Then he and San broke up. On breakup day, she posted a tragic little story on Hebe. You were born before me. I was born too late. I almost laughed out loud. Pure 24K romantic brain. Even at the end, she pooed herself, slapping a noble reason on the mess so it'd go down easier. Naturally, Luke, our resident drama ambassador, appointed herself my daily informant. Her updates. San couldn't lift her head on campus. Roommates iced her out. Professors lost patience. I sighed. I thought she'd be expelled. Luke's eyes glittered. Shall we pour a little more oil on the fire? I smiled wryly and shook my head. No need. In truth, the real sinner here was Cố Thành, a grown, married man leading a poor student into a pit. Youth can plead naivete. He had no such excuse. It wasn't as if he hadn't begged me to take him back. Every time, I acted like I didn't see him. Sometimes he went berserk, screaming, sobbing, smashing things, and I called security to haul him off. Since the day I exposed him, he seemed to shed all shame, kneeling in public, weeping, pleading. Of course people filmed it. I didn't expect the chorus of saintly sympathizers. A reformed man is worth more than gold. For a man to kneel is shame enough. How can you be so cruel? I stayed silent. Luke, however, went to battle online every day. Honestly, good for her, kept her entertained. For a rich kid without a job, too much free time is hazardous to her longevity. When the dust settled, my work returned to full speed, busy to the point of dizziness. But the good kind of busy, purposeful, satisfying, thanks to this whole scorched earth brawl. Luke discovered her true calling. Her online combat posts were so sharp they went viral. I joked, start a live stream and teach people how to clap back. You might top the charts. She lit up like a convert and said yes on the spot, and it fit. Before long, she'd become a streamer with 750,000 followers. Still climbing. As for me, I am still to Lee. I was before, I am now, I will be, always.